So I think there's still that potential that you could see some upside in Ethereum in the near term. And interestingly enough, the chart has a potential breakout here just above this downsloping trend line. So you can see that even, and by the way, this is really interesting because what we've seen in Bitcoin is that the low from basically 10 days ago was already breached. But you can
Hmm.
clearly see that Ethereum has actually moved above this trend line and is well off of these lows. So to me, I look at that as a short-term relative strength indicator versus Bitcoin specifically. So I think that again, there's a lot of hype. I think what Ethereum is doing is awesome. I think it's the right move here. And I think ultimately that in the near term, you could see some price pressure to the upside, maybe even retesting the near highs here of 2000 on Ethereum.
A lot has happened in the cryptocurrency space over the past 24 hours. Most notably, the Ether network started the Bellatrix upgrade and a final countdown to the merge, the all-important upgrade that will move the Ether network from proof of work to proof of stake. The merge, the final phase of the much-awaited transition, is now expected to occur around 9 p.m. Eastern Time on September 14. Bitcoin, the world's first and largest cryptocurrency, has also dropped below 19,000, its lowest since June 19. If prices fall lower, experts believe the $17,500 May low will be the next target. But if that does not hold, the crypto asset could continue a free fall to the $13,000 range within the next couple of months. Despite the excitement with the Bellatrix upgrade, ETH also seems to be experiencing some volatility. The top altcoin has dropped more than 9% of its price within the past 24 hours. Other altcoins, including BNB, Cardano, Solana, Polygon, and Polkadot, have also declined by over 6% in the last 24 hours. In a recent interview with the Barron network, technical analyst Gareth Soloway discusses the dip in the cryptocurrency market, ETH merge, and how the macro environment could impact the crypto market in the short term. This is an important market update you don't want to miss. So watch the video to the end, hit the like button, and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Also, ensure you subscribe to the channel and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. Thanks and enjoy the video.
Yeah, so I mean, today is definitely on a technical basis, not a great situation. Now, I will give Bitcoin credit, right? We've seen the dollar continue to ratchet up day after day after day, and Bitcoin was just going sideways. So you could actually say, okay, Bitcoin was holding up. But I look at today's up move in the dollar as potentially the straw that broke the camel's back with Bitcoin. It's just so much pressure from a rising dollar and risk assets. I mean, we've seen the stock market rolling over, and Bitcoin for the last 10 days or so has just gone sideways. So it was
Yeah.
almost inevitable if the dollar was going to keep going up, that at some point we were going to break down here. And you could see a nasty red candle here. Now
Yeah.
we do have potential support coming in around 17.5. That's going to be a
Hmm.
big level. That's the June low. But my guess is that could be where we're headed at this point. But again, I was optimistic the last few days, looking at Bitcoin holding up and holding up for multiple days. And today's kind of like the wind coming out of the sails, if you will. Yeah, so I do think there's a chance of a flush. And I think the key here is understanding there's a few different things that are mixing. Now, if we take out the 17.5-ish low here, there's
Yeah.
not a lot of support until you get down to 13 to 12,000, which is my high-end target for Bitcoin. And the
Right.
kicker here is we have to remember there's still 150,000 Bitcoin, I think, that from Mount Gox that
Sure.
could be unloaded at any one time. That's a lot of Bitcoin, especially when you're at these lower prices for pressure. In addition, I think you have to be very aware that at some point we're going to get news from the judge in the Ripple case. How is Gary Gensler going to say that, all these other coins are securities? What rules do they have to kind of abide by? And I think all of these combined with a strong dollar leave Bitcoin and other cryptos very vulnerable to kind of one of those bigger quick flushes that could take us down to that level. So I do think that level is a huge bounce opportunity. I don't know if we'll get there before we get down to, we get the Fed coming in here in late September, but I think it is a possibility.
So Gareth Soloway expects a flush, especially as experts expect the dollar to keep rising, putting a lot of downward pressure on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. According to the technical analyst, who is also the chief market strategist at InTheMoneyStocks.com, a combination of economic and macro factors could see Bitcoin plunge to at least $13,000 before the end of the year. Let us know what you think about that price prediction in the comments section below. In his interview, Gareth Soloway also talks about Ether, which is performing much better than Bitcoin despite the past day's decline. Please watch as Soloway predicts a massive ETH rally and his post-merge expectations for Ether.
I think that, again, there's a lot of hype. I think what Ethereum is doing is awesome. I think it's the right move here. And I think ultimately that in the near term, you could see some price pressure to the upside, maybe even retesting the near highs here of 2000 on Ethereum. But again, I would just caution and say that depending on the regulation we find out about, that would be a concern, that would be a risk factor that you'd want to be a little careful over the next multiple months holding on to a ton of Ethereum. I think the immediate reaction is a sigh of relief, right? Okay, it's done. It's gone smoothly. You'll probably see a pop to the upside. And again, I'm hopeful that that happens because I think crypto has taken so many, punches over the last few months. I mean, even what happened with Michael Saylor and the taxes and all that stuff. It's just one more thing that makes people kind of like, oh, what's this crypto? Is it kind of shady? What's going on? So I'm really hopeful this goes smoothly. If it does, you get a short-term relief rally to the upside. Maybe that 2000 handle would be where it goes. In fact, the 200 moving average is just above that double top high there. So that would also be a general target. Then after that, I think eyes turn back to the general crypto market, to regulation, and to overall risk assets. And I think that's where it could be. So you could get this short-term relief, but then just be careful beyond that if the whole risk market starts to come in.
Ethereum actually flip Bitcoin.
I actually do think there's a decent chance of it. I mean, if you look at the permeation in crypto of Ethereum and how many things are built on it, I mean, it's essentially the Apple of crypto. Now, I think you look at Bitcoin, and to me, I'm like, okay, Bitcoin is gold, and now Apple or Microsoft would be Ethereum. And I do think there's a lot of upside here down the line. So I am optimistic that it does have a shot of it.
The flippening, a situation where Ether's market cap exceeds Bitcoin's market cap, seems to be drawing closer. As of press time, Ether's market cap is over $185 billion, while Bitcoin's is $358.9 billion. This is the first time that has occurred since early 2018. While Ether has been able to flip Bitcoin in certain metrics, including transaction count and total transaction fees, its market cap has remained consistently lower than Bitcoin's. But this might be about to change. A Twitter handle with over 400,000 followers recently pointed this out in a tweet. ETH is attempting to break out of range. The last time it did so, it doubled relative to Bitcoin. If it doubles again relative to Bitcoin, it'll flip it. Will Bitcoiners let it happen? Or will they mercilessly pump Bitcoin to stop the ratio from getting worse? Or will it all dump for a reset? Is Ether getting closer to flipping Bitcoin's market cap? Let us know what you think in the comments section below as Gareth Soloway speaks about the U.S. macro environment and how it will impact the markets.
So I do think, just like we saw a jobs number that came in a little bit better than expected, kind of in that Goldilocks range, I do think you're going to see a continued kind of relaxation of the CPI numbers. And I think that's going to give the Fed that ability to say, hey, listen, we're still going to keep the pedal to the metal. We're still going to do 50 basis points in September. But I think you're going to see the economy weaken more and more towards the end of the year. And they're going to back off to the point where my guess is only another 25 basis points into year end. Now, the problem here is, number one, that's going to be viewed as very bullish for risk assets in the near term, until we slip into a recession. And the market and all the investors out there, they look around and they say, okay, Fed, we're in a recession. Come get us out of this now. And the Fed's going to say, well, it's not a depression yet, so we're not going to, with inflation still at 4, 5, 6%, we are not going to print, and that's going to freak the markets out. The market is so addicted to knowing that the Fed is like the parents, right? And they have this little kid, and they, the kid falls, and the parents kind of just catch them. But at some point, the Fed is going to be hand-tied here, handcuffed, and I think that point is coming late this year, early next year.
What do you think about Gareth Soloway's interview? Please drop your comments and observations in the comments section below, subscribe to the channel, and hit the like button. Thanks for watching.